What's up, guys? Welcome back to Storytime. We are doing something that I'm very passionate about today. That's having an international guest on within the industry of fitness, bodybuilding, and health and wellness, Charles Griffin.
There we go. There
There
we
we go.
go.
I got you, dude. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for your time. I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for a really long time now, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on, my man. Appreciate it.
How's life going? I actually wrote down pointers. Firstly, I wanted to congratulate you on your latest win at the California State Pro, right? In
Thank you.
May.
Yep, yep, yep.
Congratulations. I
Thank you.
read that like just before that, you tore your pec, which you were mentioning now before we started rolling.
I just tore my pec just recently.
Oh, after your
Yeah,
comp.
after my competition.
Okay.
That was last year. I just tore my pec in April of this year.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
little bit of
yeah,
like buffer there between comp and tear.
yeah. So yeah, I had that Cali Pro was April of May of 22. Cali Pro, and I made it to Olympia. And then I
Okay.
just tore my pec April 3rd of this year. So
I
now I'm on
see.
recovery to
Okay.
get back to working to get back to the Olympia stage this year now. So now I've been out for about 3 months now total, but it's on. So now we're getting ready to get back going.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you fully qualified all the way through you at the Olympia this year.
No, I no, not yet. No, I have to
Not?
get back on stage and qualify.
Oh, do you have to do
Yeah,
one more?
yeah. So look, last year I did the Indy Pro in March or April, and then I did the Cali Pro in May. I got second and I got first, and then I placed 14th at last year's Olympia.
Yes.
So now I got to requalify again this year for this year's Olympia.
Oh, I
But I
didn't know
tore my
that.
pec. Yeah, I tore my pec as I'm getting ready as I started prep to do a show this year to get qualified. I tore my pec, and now my stuff got halted. Now I'm getting back on the
I
grind to
see.
start getting qualified
Okay.
for the.
So do
Yeah,
you have to kind of re-enter every year?
every year you got to win a pro show unless you place top five. If you place
Damn.
top five, you automatically qualify for the next year. But if you don't place top five, you got to win a pro show to get in, or
Which
you
is
can win by getting in by points. You could go if you do a lot of shows and you keep getting top five, you get points. So
I
at the
see.
end, it's a deadline, and top two or top three with the highest points, they also get in.
Okay, which
Yeah.
which 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 kind of feels like it's making life even harder for you, right? Because you look at if you have the Olympia every year, you have your whole
Yeah.
year to kind of prep and get ready for that one comp. But
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get to that stage, first you have to beat the stage of having to do a show in Feb, March, April,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
re-prep all over again for the
Yeah.
Olympia later in the year. Like that's quite a hectic schedule that you have
Olympia
to
was
deal with.
my Olympia was my third show last year.
See, that's
So
a
I did
lot,
I
eh?
did I did Indy Pro, I placed second. I won the Cal Pro, and then I did the Olympia at the end of the year, three shows.
And is that how you would want your year to run, or would you do like a strictly
Yeah,
just Olympia?
it all depends. It all depends. Some people like to go one show and they get qualified and they go into the off season. I mean, they go into a little let's get better before next year's Olympia.
Mm,
But then some people just like to compete and they just like to try to win that prize money and like to just compete. So those shows, Indy and May, were only 2 weeks apart. So that's
I
not a
see.
big gap. So
Damn.
I wouldn't Indy and then do another show. I wouldn't win Indy and then do another show 6 months later. If it's a show 2 weeks, 3 weeks away, then I do that because I'm already in shape.
Okay, I see. Okay, because that's like just to give you a little bit of background in that. So I completely fell in love with bodybuilding when I was 18, 19.
Yeah,
Became obsessed with it. It was like that's what we did every day. Went into town with my dad. He was working, I was studying. We'd do the 2 hour drive through in the traffic. I'd have a gym bag, a food bag, and then my college
yeah,
bag, like the
yeah,
usual kind of thing, and spend all my free time training. That's just what I became obsessed with. and then fall in love with it, you start seeing results. And so you kind of start going even further. A lot of my friends are powerlifters and bodybuilders and kind of within the industry. So I would kind of like suck information from them and try to
Yeah,
apply it
yeah,
in my life purely just out of
yeah,
like pure enjoyment of the sport. And then
exactly.
doing acting for TV and film, it became a thing of most roles that I would audition for, the feedback would be, hey, you're way too big to play this character. It just doesn't fit the like persona. So we need you
Yeah,
to lose weight. And my attitude towards it was always, well, I'd rather be healthy and strong and happy all year round training. And then when
yeah,
you
yeah,
need me, I'll go into like a crazy cut
yeah.
and I'll
That's
cut right
hard.
down and be ready,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I developed a completely new respect and understanding for bodybuilding once I did my
24/7.
first like intense cut. It
Yeah,
is next level. And like
next level.
I know a
Mental.
lot of people look at bodybuilders that don't understand the industry. They look at bodybuilders and it's always the question of, are they athletes? Are they performers? Is it an art
Yeah,
form? Is it a sport? Is it a, how do you kind of
all of it.
place
All of
exactly?
it.
And it's
Yeah,
it's a sport and a craft that is 24/7. Your brain is never switching off. You're obsessing
yeah,
over your sleep, your level of sleep, your diet, when you eating, it's insane the level of dedication that goes in. So my question that always comes out of that is looking at the other people in the world that love it and going, so how did you end up here? Like it's a
yeah.
crazy lifestyle.
I wasn't into bodybuilding. Like I thought like for real when I started bodybuilding, I thought Hulk Hogan was a bodybuilder. You know what I mean?
Really?
Hulk Hogan's a
Yeah.
wrestler. I
Yeah.
wasn't into bodybuilding. So like what how I got into bodybuilding was like after the passing of my mother, you know,
Yeah.
that's how I got into bodybuilding because bodybuilding is the best thing to put structure and discipline in your life when you need it most.
Mm, mm,
Because it's like you said, it's 24/7. 24/7, 24/7. So that's when bodybuilding, you know, that's why I got into bodybuilding. You know, it's
mm.
like it's what got me. I always like to say it's what got me off death row. You know what I mean? If I didn't
Yeah.
find bodybuilding, I don't know where I would have ended up because I was such out here wild. I've been wild my whole life. And then,
Yeah.
you know, after losing your mother, you go, that's just like shit. That was my superwoman. That was my Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like that.
Yeah.
So that hit hard. So what I did was I fell off the deep end, you know what I mean? And it was whatever that could make me feel better and forget what she was that she was gone. I did, you know what I mean? Alcohol, drugs, well, all the drugs. I did all the drugs.
Really.
Besides like the, you know, the bad drugs, like all the party
Yeah.
drugs, I didn't do all
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? And that's what I use as a blanket. And like I said, I burned through in a year's time, I burned through over like $100,000 in money on just
Really.
partying and just doing what Charles wanted to do. What's gonna make me happy?
Yeah.
That's what I said. What's gonna make me happy today? That's what's gonna make me happy today. And I was just living life like real recklessly. And you know, bodybuilding saved me. Bodybuilding was like it was like bodybuilding was like, here you go. My mom was like, here you go. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is what you're supposed to be doing. Cause I'm talking about, man, I was depressed. I was depressed for, you know, October 2012 up until my first bodybuilding show. When I did my first bodybuilding show, it was like, ooh, it was like
Yeah.
I entered somewhere else. It was like, here's some happiness again. It was like her telling me, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a platform. I always like to say she gave her life to give me life. You know what I mean? It's like the amount of people in my life that count on me, that come to me for stuff like friends, family, everything. Like it's just like I've been through so much in my life where if
Yeah.
I haven't went through it, I've been close to somebody that's been through it. And I'm able to help out so many people in different categories. And I don't care
Yeah.
where it's, even if I haven't had it done to me, I still been around that, you know what I mean? Because I've lived a life, you know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like now I got a platform and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I shared my story and I shared this and they're like, oh, this dude could get out of where he was at. I wasn't as bad off as he was, you know what I mean? I mean, he's bad
Yeah.
off. He's real bad off. And look, he put it all the way around. So I feel like me sharing my story And me being vulnerable and allowing people to see what it is, like, dang, he went through that. Okay, this is what I'm going through. Let me get through this. And that was my mom's way of saying, you know, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. It's like a switch, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm the student, now you're the teacher, you know what I mean? And that's what happened. And bodybuilding just gave me a whole life, because that's when you ask me, like, what is it that excites me? It's like, I'm not, even if it's not bodybuilding for me, it's still to do with fitness and
Yeah.
bodybuilding, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It consumes my whole life, you know what I mean? And if I didn't find bodybuilding, man, I don't know where I'd have been. Because, like, I'm talking about alcohol, cocaine, riding my motorcycle hundreds of miles per hour on the freeway, just doing reckless shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not really thinking about what's going to happen if something bad happens. You know, if something went wrong with that, I'm done. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
was just in a very dark place, and bodybuilding got me out of that dark place, man. Because, you know, like I said, my whole life I've been wild. I've been wild my whole life. Close
Yeah.
calls my whole life doing shit. Close calls my whole life, and it was like that was God's way of saying, okay, if you keep, that was a close call. If you keep doing some stupid shit, I'm gonna let you get in stupid shit trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sooner or later, I had to wake up, because in my lifetime, I've had too many close calls, and buddies that are doing life in prison. You know, people that just died from overdose and drugs, this and that. I party with all these people. I spent a night at these people's house, and they went, and I overcame all that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
overcame all this and that. So it's like, this is my platform. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be sharing my story and changing people's lives with fitness, and that's what bodybuilding. That's why I got into bodybuilding. That's how I got into bodybuilding.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's it's such a blessing in your life that you went through something so difficult to deal with, especially with your mom being such a pillar of strength and foundation in your life, and that kind of gets taken away. But at the same
yeah,
time that gets taken away, you get given this platform to tell your story and to kind of
yeah.
share that and change the life of others, which is difficult to explain to people when they don't understand the bodybuilding community and how closely knit it is, and also the
Like,
types of people that you find in a gym. It's people that
yes,
are looking for a place to belong. You know, it's people that are looking to self-improve, people that are trying to
yeah, yeah,
find, you know, confidence and their own strength and power and their own place to kind of have a community. And that's the kinds of people that you can make a difference in the lives of. Yeah.
yeah. And, you know, we just bring about that. Just this past Thursday, I had a buddy of mine that came into the gym 6 years ago from this last Saturday, and his first training session with me in 6 years. The previous week, his first time walking into the gym,
Wow.
he canceled his membership, left out of that door, and then he killed himself on Thursday. Killed himself on Thursday. So it was like, that
Shit,
was
man,
like,
I'm sorry about that, eh?
so yeah, that was like tough. You know, that was real tough.
Yeah.
But like, me losing my mother, that was the hardest thing I've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
And not to say him committing suicide wasn't bad, but I'm never going to deal with anything that's worse than my mother dying,
Uh,
except if I have a kid that's something that dies before me. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so I was able to mourn that and be sad and shed some tears, but I was still able to facilitate and be there for everybody
I
that
see.
needed me. You know what I mean?
I
So it's
see.
like, my mom, like I said, she gave her life to give me life. Now I feel like I'm a soldier and I'm over here helping everybody, because, like, I'm over here navigating everything. Yeah, I'm sad, I'm going through it, but I'm able to move on in life and help everybody else, because I've been through so much shit already. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like this is all the master plan, all set up, and I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
you've been given like a level of strength that other people don't have, and not
yeah,
just physically. I mean, also like, you know,
exactly,
emotionally and
exactly.
spiritually, you've been given a level of strength that you can now
Yeah,
be there for others when they're dealing with these hardships because you've
like,
been right at the end of it. Yeah.
This episode of Storytime is brought to you by Frankie's Underwear, because life is too short to wear boring ass underwear. If you use code Frankie's Matching, get 20% off all of their full priced items, Plus, if you sign up for their newsletter at their website, get a further 15% off as well. That's a total of 35% off everything. Thank you, Franklies.
We interrupt this episode to thank our sponsor, Truth Coffee Roasting. Truth Coffee Roasting have put the effort in to source beans from around the world to bring you exclusive, high, premium coffee flavors that are not just a caffeine fix. They keep me going, they keep the team at Storytime going, and now they can keep you going too. Use your exclusive Storytime code and get 10% off all premium coffees. Thank you, Truth.
Yeah, so like my girl, for instance, my fiance, it was like the closest thing she's been to death. And she was just like real messed up. And she wasn't like the best friends with him, but she rubbed shoulders with him. She seen him at the gym. So it was like the closest thing to death to her. So she was like, whoa, that really messed me up. And now she could really feel like how I feel, because a little bit of how I feel, because my mom has passed. So that just goes to show like that affected her right there. She's like, whoa, love, like I knew you were strong. I already knew what type of person you are, but that's like tough.
That's next level.
That's something like, that's just a friend that I really didn't know, but this is your mom, and she couldn't take it. She started crying just to think about if she had to go through what I went through. So it's like, so
it's actually crazy that we get into this topic, because on the way here, I was listening to a podcast today with Joe Rogan and Jelly Roll, the musician. And it was so interesting because he had this take on his music and on his lyrics where it's almost like he writes his music from the perspective of someone that is a known sinner, someone that has done bad things, someone that has, hurt people and burnt bridges, and is now living their life, dedicating themselves to try and help those that might feel the same, or to try help those that find themselves in difficult situations and want to kind of turn their day around and save themselves and find themselves in a better position. And I was driving on the way here, listening to one or two of his albums and thinking on exactly this kind of stuff, thinking on my family and my dad and my mom, and my family and I are really, really close. And this idea of no matter how much I mess up, or no matter what I go through, it's still a part of my story, and it's still something that can change the lives of others, something that you can share that can have an impact on other people. And it kind of takes this burden that maybe we carry in life of like, I'm not a good person, or on the other side, oh, why do these things happen to me? Why me kind of mentality, and turn it into such a positive thing. And it's so cool to hear people. I mean, Jelly Roll within music, yourself within fitness, like there's people in these industries that genuinely care, that really care about people. And that's so powerful to have that. Yeah.
That's what I was telling them, like how you said genuinely care. I feel like when I train all my clients, this and that, I feel like it ain't, I'm not looking at you like a lot of people look at people like that's a bill, like that's a payment. You're a payment, you're a payment, you're a payment. I see it as I'm helping someone out, and I happen to pay my bills with it. You know what I mean? It's all about helping people out, and that's what it is. So I continue to help people out. I'm always going to be stacked. I'm always going to be, blessed. I'm always going to have this, because I'm caring. All you got to do, caring. It's a lot of caring in this industry.
Yeah. You use the word blessed often, which I love, by the way. One of my favorite memories from high school was a friend of mine that anytime you asked him how he was, whether he was sad, happy, whatever he was, his answer would be, I'm blessed. I'd say, Tebe, how are you? And you go, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
I woke up. I woke up today.
Exactly. And it's the headspace of, no matter my mood, no matter my emotional state right now, that changes, that comes and goes. But what doesn't change is the fact that I'm blessed and I woke up this morning and I can do something with it, So you just made that come to mind for me. But on you using that word so much, are you a like spiritual kind of centered person within that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like I go to church every Sunday and I practice this and practice that, but I'm a religious man. I'm very religious. I believe in God. I pray, I do all this, but it's like, could I practice and have more faith? Yeah, I could, but
all of us could. Everyone could.
You don't have all you don't have to do that to be a religious, spiritual
Yeah.
person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
For myself, yes, I am. Yeah.
Because, and I also asked the question because having gone through what you've gone through, it's always the next kind of question that comes to mind for me, of how did you find a way to kind of center yourself outside of bodybuilding with, I mean, even in the way you speak, you can hear that you're at peace, which is very rare to find in people. And so when I read your story in that article, the article was telling your story, growing up, what got you into bodybuilding, the passing of your mother, but also going on about how like you're the next mad muscle man to be coming into the industry. And I was like, this is sick. Which is what got me hooked on your Instagram and everything. And yeah, that's kind of why that question comes up next, of like coping mechanisms, right? Of ways to face the world and ways to center yourself and kind of give structure and order, not just to your day, which we find in bodybuilding, but mentally as well through spirituality or whatever else it is.
Yeah, because it's like you find like it wasn't always like that, you know what I mean? But it finally just happened. It was like, boom, I quit being that because I was like, God, what? She's supposed to be here. Now she's in a better place. And I was mad. And it was just like, I came to like, this is what it is. And that's when I started like, going the other direction on things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just, now that I sit back and I look, it's just crazy how it all played out. And at first I didn't see it, but now I sit back, I'm like, ooh, look at that. That happened for a reason, everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this year, this also marks like my 9th year bodybuilding right here, because my first show was this weekend, you know what I mean? So all that stuff came up. So all things came up and stuff like that.
That's so dope.
Fitness is dope, man. Fitness is dope. Bodybuilding is dope. You know what I mean?
It really is. And I think that's ultimately what people are going to want to hear us talk about, is bodybuilding and your physique and your journey and your training. Is there a fundamental to your training? It's kind of like, the question people ask actors where they're like, oh, you're a method actor. It's kind of that question for me in bodybuilding of like, hey, are you on like a generic bro split? Hey, are you diet all year round? Hey, are you in favor of this or that? Like, what are your fundamentals to your training that make Charles Griffin Charles Griffin?
It's all about controlling the weight. You know what I mean? Like besides this shit right here, this was a hiccup right here. This other than that, it's all about controlling the weight and feeling the weight. A lot of people be in the gyms and they just moving and shit.
Yeah.
You want to each rep, that eccentric part of the movement is just as important as everything. You know what I mean? So they're just, control that movement back. So it's all about feeling the reps, not just moving the weight.
Yeah.
And it's all about form. And, I was just talking to my lady, I'm about to start getting more deeper into it because everything I've learned is self-taught.
Really?
I've just for the last 10, 12 years, I've just been hands-on in this long. You can't teach what I've learned, but now I'm about backwards with it, where I'm about to do more of the book stuff and I'm already understanding. So now when I read it, it's just going to be like, oh, boom.
Oh, immediately. Yeah.
It's just going to click to me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a form junkie, man. That's one thing. I go heavy with weights and I'm always controlling my shit, no matter. It's about form and about really feeling the reps instead of just moving weight. Make sure you're feeling every freaking rep. That's what I love to do.
Do you think, on you saying that, you were saying you go heavy and control, which is so difficult to get right, because mentally you're trying to find, well, I have to go heavier to keep growing, but what weight can I get to that's still controlled, right? And kind of find that balance, which is really difficult. Knowing that, do you think bodybuilding, and let's go like competing, because I have a lot of friends that compete that are really good at it, and I have a lot of friends that compete that want to be really good at it. Do you think bodybuilding is something that someone can step into and work really, really hard at and perform well? Or do you think it's something that a certain type of person, whether it be genetically is predispositioned to, in terms of like he's got the right genetic code that if he puts a lot of effort in, he'll be incredible.
Yeah.
That one.
Bodybuilding is a lot of genetics. It's about a
Mm.
lot of it's big on genetics. You know what I mean? It's big
Yeah.
on that. And like you got a person that doesn't have the best genetics, work hard, and they're just not going to pro level physique. But you got a person that doesn't work as hard with those crazy genetics, and that's just what it is. Bodybuilding's a game of genetics. You know what I mean? Happen to be blessed with genetics because I walk by the weights and I just grew. You know what I mean? And once I put the right formula together, moving the weight right, make sure I got perfect form on everything, make sure I'm, dotting my I's, crossing my T's, making sure I'm doing everything right. And then I started getting everything out of the workouts. You know, it might be humbling at first to break it down. Okay, let me bring the weight back down. Now let me control that weight and then move it up. I got people I've been working with 2 or 3 years. Now they caught on. And now they're back up to where they used to be. But now they're caught back up doing it the right way. It sucked, but now they're getting everything out of it. You know what I mean? It's just, and that's the way it is. So
it's become, obviously with social media, it's become like more and more trendy to be in fitness and jacked and ripped and look good in photos and whatever. And it raises the concern for me quite often that I'm hearing more and more from kids that are younger and younger that they want to bodybuild, that they want to look a certain way, be built a certain way, which is awesome. But
it's scary.
It's scary because there's an element to it of like, oh, Charles, I've had guys that are 19, 20 years old and come to me and be like, I started my first cycle. I want to compete by the time I'm 24. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know what your genetic potential is.
I stopped working with clients that were young that started doing it behind my back, and I stopped working with them because messing themselves up. Like you're young and you started here, only thing you could go is up from here. Like you got that's scary right there because they want to look a certain way, and that means they're going to go fast, and that fast, you know what I mean? Fast doesn't mean let's put a year, 2, 3, 4 years in. It means let's get on my first cycle.
Yeah.
At 18, 20, because that's what's cool now. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's very
it's becoming a really big problem in that like friends that I have that are older, they're getting mid to late 20s, getting closer to 30, and they've given it horns. They've given it everything they have. And now you start to see the shift of guys going, okay, maybe I'm not genetically gifted to the point where I'll be, full Heath, Chris Bumstead, but I'll look incredible. And then it's kind of weighing up the consequence and the benefits as well of like, okay, well, do I stay on cycle and keep kind of burning through that system, or do I kind of lay off and find a, I guess, in quotation, healthier way of kind of carrying out this passion that I have, right?
It's a thin line. It's a thin line. And I what I preach to people is you just got to wait to see what you're genetically capable of doing. Yeah. And then even if you're not competing, why get on drugs?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not talking about like being on a little hormone replacement therapy, little TRT. That's not drugs. That's just you.
Yeah.
And making sure your test levels are normal, this and that. But like, if you're not competing, you're not doing that, it makes no sense for you to be. Yeah. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be putting all this stuff in my body. I just wouldn't be doing it. It makes no sense. Hobby for them. I've made money on it. I made a living off of it. And these people are just for it and they ain't doing nothing with it. So it's scary.
Yeah. These guys are trying to be like the weekend warrior, you know, like some cycles I've heard from friends are just like
more than pros, more than what I take. I got a couple people at my gym. I'm like, you're on what? I've never touched, like, it's crazy.
It scares me. Like, so there was a friend of mine, his name was Paul, and one of my favorite people I've ever met in a gym. Most of the people and friends in my life I've made in gyms, just because we're on the same wavelength, right? Like it's pretty obvious. But Paul, he was like 6'5", 6'6", huge. He must have been 125, 130 kilos. I think that's 270, I think, around their pounds. Like big boy. And the friendliest guy. Like he showed me, he was the first person to do what you do with your clients, where I'm training and he's like, one, you have no control. Two, it's all joint pressure, not muscle fatigue that you're creating there. Let's go way back down and correct everything and start from scratch. And because it was him saying it, I was like, cool, I'll listen, let's do it. And I became so much better at lifting because of him. Unfortunately, Paul passed away during COVID. Bless his soul, rest his soul. He was angel of a human. And he was at a level where he was telling me friends of his would take so much insulin to force themselves to get that much bigger that when leaving the gym, they'd find themselves stuck in traffic and they'd have to like be chugging Coca-Cola to not pass out and go into a coma.
Yep.
And I said to him, I was like, I've never really heard about that side of the industry. You know, like no one ever talks about that. And again, these aren't guys that are competing. These are guys that are in threat of falling into a coma, sitting in traffic and not touching a stage.
And that's where it's scary too, because
that's
insane. A lot of these people, some of these coaches are telling them to do this too. And the coaches are making sure that they're really supposed to be doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like when you insulin, you got to have those fucking carbs right there, ready to drink. Like I have my Carbolin always with me. Like I'm ready to chug and make sure I'm chugging a little bit more than what I'm supposed to. That just is experience. And these kids don't got no experience.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's something I've been trying to wrap my head around for quite a while, because it's obviously an industry that I'm passionate about. And, you know, being in it, I think I've been training now for 7 years, and never competed, never done anything along those lines. I don't think I ever will, but then I'm also like, I don't want to get to 40, 50 and be like, oh, I never did anything with all that training, you know, like that also kind of crosses my mind.
Why haven't you done a show yet?
I think it's a factor of insecurity, which I think holds a lot of people back. Two, I am really, really nervous about the whole about the steroid supplement side of the industry. I've never touched it, thankfully. It does make me nervous though. And it makes me nervous because needles freak me out, you know, like
do something in the bodybuilding world. Eventually you're going against some genetic freaks and they're on drugs. So you got to get on drugs eventually.
Exactly.
You know, you could try all the natural you want, this and that, but the person's not going to get far in the IFBB being all natural in stuff. You know what I mean? Because that's just what it is. You got to do drugs.
Well, and I mean, and a lot of people look at the bodybuilding industry and frown upon it because of that. And I go, okay, wait a second. Look at the Tour de France, for example. Incredible athletes everywhere. When they caught Lance for doping, they searched through the positioning of every single cyclist. The first position that they found that was clean, and this is just because they didn't catch him, was 15th. So the top 14 people in the Tour de France were all geared out of their mind. And I'm like, okay.
You got it in the NFL, you got it in the NBA, you got it everywhere. We're just on the street with it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's just they walk in there and they know we're just on Front Street. It's everywhere. I don't care what nobody says. Like even you want to talk about peptides. Like BPC
what are peptides? Because I haven't fully understood it.
I really haven't fully understood it, but they're amino acids. It's basically what we got in our body already. BPC stands for body protection compound, and then TB500. These are wonder drugs. Like when you
Really?
get a torn ligament, this, that, a strain, I don't care what it is. The way my pec is healing on TB 500 and BPC is ridiculous. Like my beard, the growth in my beard, my hair, my hairline, like every freaking thing. Like the reason why it's not legal is because big pharma can't make no money off of it. That's what I believe.
No, really?
Like, because people will be healed. People will like be like, oh shit. Like BPC and TV 500 is crazy. And like companies could sell it, but it has to be for like, they got to say proper research
Uh,
purposes only, not for human consumption, but they know what people are taking. And it's like, it's crazy. The first time I took it, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, are you serious? Like, it's something special. And I don't know why it's not. I told my doctor when I hit my pec, I said, I'm going to get on TV 500. He's the Minnesota Twins doctor. And I told him
oh
I'm going to get on
yeah.
TV, BPC 157 and some growth. And he looked at me with a smirk on his face. He's like, yeah, you'll be. And he couldn't say much. He couldn't say much because he has this understudy right there. But when I came back in, he was feeling like, oh. And I just came back in 2 weeks later, like, oh my God, Charles, that is feeling like you. I'm like, yeah, he wanted to ask
No
questions, but
ways.
research on TB 500 and BPC 157, it's a wonder supplement. I swear to you, wonder supplement. Yeah, it's
That's
crazy. And it's,
crazy. Because there's such a understanding, but also misunderstanding of this whole aspect of the industry, that there's steroids, there's insulin growth test, peptides, SARMs, hormone replacement. There's all these different factors now, and it's what's kind of almost poison to the body and what isn't. But then you hear stories like this, and it's like these compounds still have place within the health community, within, the medical industry. There is a place for it. Bodybuilding just knows how to take it and make you look good.
is that coffee you're drinking?
Yeah, yeah. It's from
Ain't it like nighttime over there?
Yeah, it's now. Yeah, it's midnight. Yeah.
And you drink coffee?
Yeah. It's yeah. It's Truth Coffee, which is like one of our sponsors. Their coffee's incredible. So I'm actually drinking it black. Um, but yeah, I
You
had
don't got
a
you don't got to get ready for sleep in a couple hours, or you just a night owl?
I'm quite a night owl, which
Okay.
I'm trying like not to be actually, which right now you can't tell. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit hyped up on coffee for our conversation and like be ready rather than like
Yeah.
tired. Like it's yeah, I'd rather have the coffee and get home and like, sleep in a little bit tomorrow on a Saturday. Um, yeah, coffee. I've actually found we were talking about this today. I love coffee. I don't know how much of a fan you are of.
I
Yeah,
drink it
it's
every day.
yeah, it's like one of my favorite things in the day. And I used to need
Yeah.
I used to need pre like every day, right? I'd go in and I'd be like, the more pre I take, the more caffeine I take in, the better I'll look, kind of thing. And what I've started doing is taking a strong cup of coffee and a non-stim pre just to kind of get that pump with the
Yeah,
amount of
yeah,
caffeine out of coffee rather. And just
yeah.
as of lately, it's been working so well that like I'm not up at night, like off energy drinks, like rocking back and forth, staring at the shadows in the corner of the room.
Big caffeine person. Like I
Yeah.
have a lot of caffeine. My pre-workout is probably about 500 milligrams of caffeine. Like
Really?
I do the raw extreme, the pre-raw extreme, and one scoop is 400 milligrams, and I always do a little pinch more. So yeah, I'm a big caffeine person.
Oh,
Huge.
that's
Yeah, and
that's a
then I
shitload of caffeine. Yeah.
have my coffee in the morning, then I have like an energy drink throughout the day. Yeah, so I have some caffeine in the daytime.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, get it in. Yeah. We tried. I don't know if it's legal anymore to have it. There was a friend of mine from Canada brought it down. Ryan Otram brought it down, called Psycho.
No, I never heard of that.
It has like clowns on it, which is like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not something
yeah,
that's gonna get
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All of us with a sad clown trying to like stop from
Yeah,
going insane in the gym. And
yeah.
it was such a hectic pre. He helped me do my cut for a show. And I was weighing in at 120 and we managed to get down to 103 within like 2.5, 3 months. It was like, I said to him, this is the most insane thing in the world. He was like, dude, you haven't scratched the surface of what bodybuilders go through. And I was like, oh, yay, thanks for that. Um, but we took this psycho for leg day when you have zero carbs in your system and like you can barely stay awake throughout the day, let alone a leg day. And it was so intense. It had my friend throwing up out the like third story window, like throwing up, head rush, like it got dark. Yeah, it got dark.
That we call that that's that good stuff right there. Yeah.
That's when you know you
uh
bought the proper stuff.
yeah. Hey, so do you guys what about weed? Is that legal over there? No. How's
Um,
weed from
oh, that's a good question. I don't know. It's legal to have at home, but it's illegal to buy and sell, which is like quite a weird thing, right? Yeah, or there's some weird clause to it. Um,
oh,
yeah, I became quite a fan of THC and CBD for anxiety, like big time, helped a lot with my anxiety. Yeah, are you a big fan?
I smoke. Yeah, I smoke. Yeah, I smoke everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it helps, dude.
I'm smoking, but then when I tore my pec, I cut back a little bit smoking, but I've been smoking for years, man. You know,
Really.
ain't nothing wrong. On in Minnesota, they just legalized it too in Minnesota, so it's about to be legal for recreation use and
Oh,
everything like that. So, like, I'm at the light bumping like this, and I'm at the light, and I look behind me. I got a police officer client that's been with me for 6 years, and I told him I'm at the light, and I'm just bumping, and you can see the smoke coming out of my Jeep, and I look behind me, oh shit, and I'm like, stop like that. You can still see the smoke. They get around and they come, they're looking at my Jeep, and they just keep going. I'm like, fuck, and it's
it's
crazy
cheap.
now.
It'll be
Like crazy.
fine. Yeah.
They was just looking. I'm like, oh shit, there's two cars behind me. They just see smoke coming out. I'm like, but they don't
Yeah.
even care. Oh,
It's
it's
and
all
there was I can't remember what stand-up comedian it was that did a bit on like one day we'll tell our kids the shit we had to go through to get
yeah,
weed, and our kids are
yeah.
gonna be like, Dad, I buy it at the 7-Eleven. What are you talking about? Like, it's insane that's how it's
That's
going.
how it's gonna be for them. Exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah, easy.
Crazy. And it's nothing like those. It's like a very alcohol is legal, so you're gonna say weed can be legal? Come on now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You behind that wheel and kill somebody, alcohol, but a little weed, ain't nothing wrong with a little marijuana.
Yeah, weed makes you drive like way below the speed limit. Like you're not
Yeah,
going
yeah.
anywhere fast. Yeah.
So yeah, so ain't nothing wrong with
Do they
it.
do they test for weed in the IFBB?
Nah, man, they don't care about that. They don't test for nothing. You
Oh,
know what
they
I
don't,
mean?
eh?
Jobs are not even testing for that no more. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
NBA doesn't even have as a drug you can't have anymore. So it's just like everybody's like, it's just weed. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it ain't that bad. Oh, people are just pretty soon it's just gonna be weed is just gonna be normal. You know what I mean? Like how people smoke cigarettes outside, everybody's just gonna be smoking weed and cigarettes outside. Like
Yep.
it's normal.
My
Yeah.
my
So
my point of view on it is always to people that are maybe opposed to it.
yeah.
Cool. Like whatever point of view you want to have, take it. My view is one, I'd rather have you smoke weed than take depressants, like antidepressants. I'd rather have you smoke weed than take sleeping tablets. I'd rather have you smoke weed than take
Yeah.
anti-anxiety. I'd rather have you smoke weed than take diet medicate. Like, trust me, smoking a
So
J is a
much.
lot better than going on hectic, you know, depression medication, unless obviously you're in a state where that's really, really necessary. And even if it is,
Yeah.
you don't want to be dependent on it. You know, you trying to get away from it, I would imagine most people, it's so much better for you, I think. And the fact that they've, again, maybe this goes back to the same point you made with the peptides. Maybe the government's always felt that there's no money that they can make. Because if you look now within the US, the people that own most of the weed farms, it's all the big guys that are pumping money into that industry.
And they're making, they found a way to tax it and they can make money, so let's make it legal.
There you go.
And
now that we can tax it, have it.
They're waiting on their loophole, how they could do it with the peptides, because as soon as they find a way, that shit's going to be like, everybody going to be like, wow, this is crazy. This should have been legal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to slightly away from topic. We mentioned I think I did very briefly being in prep. And I really want to get to know what is prep like for you, in that you said you walk past a weight and you put on size. I watched a video the other day of you performing a vacuum. It's incredible. It's incredible. To anyone that doesn't know what a vacuum is, Google bodybuilder vacuuming. It's incredible. It's the most modernized form of old school bodybuilding in people like Charles Griffin. It's incredible to see. What goes into your prep to get into that state, to be able to look that way? Like, are you a hectic diet guy? Are you a hectic cardio guy? Like, what is your...
More cardio. We just minimal cardio. We're not even doing a lot of cardio. It's diet and hit the weights hard. That's what it comes down to. Diet and hitting the weights hard and just stay on the gas pedal. Even when I don't feel like it, I got to keep pushing through that shit. You know what I mean? Because it's bodybuilding is mental. So it's all mental. So if you get past that mental part of it, you're going to be good. You know what I mean? And to speak about the vacuum is like because I got, long story short, I got a hernia surgery after 2018 Olympia. Didn't keep my stomach tucked in well. The surgeon wasn't the best. And I let my midsection hang out and my waist got thickened. So I came back, waist thickened, messed up my my symmetry and whatnot.
Yeah.
And started packing the vacuum. I practiced the vacuum 2019 I gave up, 2020 I gave up, 21 I gave up, and in 21, after 21 season, I started practicing. I was just pulling the stomach in. I was trying to do it. I kept trying to do it. Then all of a sudden, I accidentally did it. I was like, holy fuck, I just did the vacuum. I had to take a picture, and I couldn't get the picture, and I couldn't get it. I kept trying. Then all of a sudden, it was, whoop. I'm like, oh, that's all it was. And once I brought my pop back that I had before my hernia surgery, and it just because no open class bodybuilder can vacuum like how I vacuum. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
I came back once. I just brought the vacuum back on map last year, 2022, and it was like game changer. Everybody was like, some people do the vacuum and it doesn't fit their physique. It just fits my physique. It's turned my physique to a whole different thing.
Because that's what I was reading an article talking about the struggle that you were facing right at the beginning of making the choice. Do I do 212 or do I do open? Right? Because you were sitting, I stand corrected, at like 217, 218, lean.
I would have been miserable.
Yeah, built like a brick shit house. And it's like, now you want me to go even further down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went for open, but you still have characteristics like a vacuum that you've carried through into the open division.
Yeah, I wouldn't say but it was something I had to learn.
Okay.
I didn't know how to do it then, but my waist was tiny then, but I did not do it then. It was something I had to learn. And it was something because I was almost winning these shows. I was almost beating this person. I was almost beating that person. But I just had my midsection was just the weak point. And then once I fixed that, it was like, okay, now I can beat this person. Now I can beat that person. Something I was like, I know I got more in me. I got to bring that out of me. And I did that vacuum and it was like, holy shit, here he comes. He's back on it now.
Here we go.
Because me being at my weight, I'm 270 pounds, not on stage, but I'm still pulling a vacuum off season 270. You know, right now I'm
That's
256.
crazy.
Right now, 256, 257. I feel like I could pull. I feel like when I pull my vacuum, I have no organs. Just feel like it just sucks all the way through. Once I'm in the 250s, it's just gnarly. Yeah, so it's gonna be a fun time once I get back to getting on it. So this is my second week of grinding, and we back on it. We almost back on it because
Okay.
when I get in prep, I flip into a different person. You know, when I get into prep, it's just like, and sometimes I've been working on not being so locked into where I'm kind of like, I still got to be nice and be crazy Charles, but I get so locked in on prep because
Really?
you got to go there. You got to go there mentally. So I like to punch prep in the mouth and just get nasty with it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, I'm like so hyped off you now. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to the gym now. If I can have another coffee, dude. You've been with, I'll tell you, Matt Jansen. Did I say his surname correctly?
2018.
Yeah, which is he's a part of Raw.
Yeah, he's like he's like owner of, he's one of the owners on Revive. Yeah.
So why him, and what has changed for you within prep, your style of training since him coming in?
Connection. It was just connection. And of course he knows what he's doing. There's all these coaches out here that knows what he's knowing that they're doing, but you got to be able to connect with him. And he saw me at the indie show and I was pretty pissed off. I was mad. We missed the mark, but I still thought we should have won. And he talked to me right there. And it was just like how he talked to me, and like I connected with him. I was like, I need a new coach. And he was my coach. I've only been with 2 coaches.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm going to end my career with Matt. So it was just like right away, I was like, oh, I connected, dude. We're right here. So it was a no-brainer because I knew he knew his shit. I could go to that coach. He knows his shit, but I don't like his attitude. You know, I don't like that. Don't connect. So it's all about connecting with a person. You know, I'm an energy type person. I go off vibe. So I get a bad vibe from you when the first time I meet you and it's something off, I'm not gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
Just because I listen to my intuition. Something's telling me you're off. You know what I mean? So I'm a big vibey energy person. So it's all about that.
Yeah. And if you had to, because I've heard quite a few bodybuilders within the community rave about his coaching and his implementation of the sport into their life and how he makes altercations that make such big differences. What would be like one factor that stands out when I say, what is Matt brought in that you are like, this is good?
The attention to detail.
Really?
Like even when like we're out we're out at a show, we're out at the Olympia for set, and I'm seeing him, and he's telling me what to do, but he still puts everything in a message and sends it to me, and still does this and still does that. Everything is always laid out. He could go back to, what do we do this week? What do we do that week? It's always something that he could do. He always every single thing. It's just the attention to detail. It's crazy.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible.
And he just cares. You just got to care. If you care, it's going to be, you know.
Yeah.
By him just caring, it's just like, it's dope. He's the dope one of the dopest coach to me. Yeah, Honey Rome boy, this dude's this and that, but this dude is way younger than them, and he's already at their level.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's ever to do it.
Yeah, Hanny's training with he's training Chris at the moment. He's been with Chris now. I think this will be year number 2.
This will be year number 2. Yeah, Honey got some hits. He got some hitters. He got Derek Lunsford. He got Hottie Chupon. Hottie's dope. Hottie's dope. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Hottie's the dope. He's like the go to this. Now Matt's upcoming. Matt is going to be Honey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And all of them are quite tight as well, it seems, because they're all within the same community, within the same businesses and stuff like that. So before we head out, I've taken quite a bit of your time, but I wanted to ask the general meathead gym questions. Wanted to get these in at the end so we can tell the fans. These are the kinds of questions that always come to mind. Question 1, favorite muscle group to train?
Quads.
Really?
Yeah, quads.
What does your quad day look like? The
My quad day
perfect.
I've gotten all my growth these last couple years with this. I go leg extensions, blow them up on leg extensions. My second exercise is go crazy on hack squat. My third one is a horizontal leg press.
Yeah.
My fourth exercise is the pendulum squat, and we call it Eleanor at our gym. And then I end off with like my feet elevated, and I'm just standing in that pocket with the dumbbell, standing in that pocket, killing the quads and adductors. That's been my workout for the last 3 years, and my legs have grown tremendously.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I've found a single gym in South Africa that has that pendulum squat. Um, it looks incredible to put that into your leg day. So I'm gonna yeah, try to find a replacement.
It loads the quads up real nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that as a leg day and tag you in it.
Tag me in and go heavy as shit. You got 12 to 15 reps and go as heavy as you can, pushing those 12 to 15 reps. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's 12 to 15 on everything.
On everything. So I do like 1 to 2 warm-up sets, and then it's 2 to 3 working sets every exercise.
Shut the bed. Okay. I'll do it. Okay. So I'm gonna do your leg day. I think I actually might end up doing it on Sunday.
Gotcha.
What is your favorite go-to cheat meal?
Man, I don't have a favorite go-to. I just like every cheat meal, I like to try to do something different.
Yeah.
I like to try to do something different. Last week was pizza. This week might be something different. I don't know. I just like to try something always different. But for a while, my go-to was Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I've never had Chick-fil-A.
That's so fire. That's like so fire. That's go-to for a long time. See, now you got me talking about some Chick-fil-A, and I ain't got no cheat meal until tomorrow and shit.
Oh, tomorrow though. That's okay.
Oh yeah.
I literally had my cheat meal before this call. Yeah.
Oh, what you have?
I pulled into Burger King.
Okay, got you.
I don't know if we have the same menus as on that side, but there's a burger called the Texan Barbecue.
Yep.
Yeah, got one of those. Got a foot long chili cheese. I usually like avoid the fries. I just do like 3 burgers and then have that with like a mass gain, a shake or something, and have that be my cheat meal. I ate the fries today. I went fries and all. I was all out. I even had soda. I went for everything. I was like, fuck it. I'm eating everything. Yeah. And then 2-3 coffees at midnight straight after. So health is all me today. Yeah. What is your least favorite thing to train? And do you have a least favorite thing to train?
My least favorite thing to train would be, for some reason, I really don't have a least favorite, but if I had to put a least favorite, sometimes I just hate doing hamstrings.
Really? Literally the other side of the leg?
Yeah, or sometimes I always go hard. I do them like how I'm supposed to. I go hard. I got some crazy hamstrings, but I just don't like training them, but I have to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you like, my biggest frustration is calves?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my calves don't grow either, but I know I could probably train them a little. I'm not gonna lie, I just suck at training calves. I'm over here about to start trying to make up some shit. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. This is real life right here. I just suck at training because if I buckled out and train them, they would get freaking nasty. But I just don't feel like it, and I do a little bit there, but I need to train. If I train them like I train everything else, yeah, I probably have some quads on my calves.
Yeah. like proportion you already have. So like that must also probably become a mental factor for you of like, I'm proportionate.
I'd be looking like, damn, your calves. I'd be like, man, these shit seem small to me. Well, to them, but it's like, no, they're really not. Because you go Hunter Labrada or somebody like that, you like, he got cows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. For me, it's also like if I get into a swing of like every day I'm just going to do carbs, or every second day, it's just
Yeah.
my 15-20 minutes at the end. Then I start going, okay, I'm going to train carbs, but I'm not going to do abs as well, and I'm not going to do my cardio as well.
Abs.
Are you doing abs every day?
Oh, I'm saying that's you. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna do calves, but I'm gonna do abs. I'm gonna make sure I got the abs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's all. And that's it. It's not a good thought to have, to be like, calves, whatever, but abs, like, got to
Yeah.
train abs, yeah. And I've I always had the view. I think I was like 23, 22, 23. When I went to college, I was really struggling to break 100 kilos, to get over 100. And my first year at college, I was like, cool, all I'm going to do is be at college and be at the gym. That's all I'm going to do. So my goal was to eat as much as possible every day so that I would just keep growing. So I was eating like crazy amounts of food. Like lunch, my lunch number one had 4 muffins with it. It was just like, just eat and just train really, really heavy all the time. And now I can't really do that anymore. But you still want to grow. So you try to start, trying to find this balance of like calorie in, calorie out, heavy controlled. Like, it really does become a science, which is when you try to explain that to people that don't know the industry, you're like, it gets technical,
They
dude.
don't understand.
And abs are in
It's
that
like,
little equation. Yeah. Because abs are,
yes,
there's always that quote, abs are made in the kitchen. I don't know so much about that.
Yeah, of course, they're made in the kitchen, but they made pretty and defined inside the gym. Because abs,
Exactly.
like, you ain't just ain't gonna eat clean and you just gonna have a beautiful abs. No, you got to do some abs to make them
Yeah.
motherfuckers look good.
Yeah. You got to grow them so that they actually stand. Yeah.
Yeah, they just made in the kitchen, because if you eating like bullshit, you ain't gonna be able to grow them inside the gym.
Exactly. Exactly. If you had to choose another sport
Football,
at this level, what sport would you go for other than bodybuilding?
football.
Oh yeah, you'd be a beast at football.
I was I played football growing up, and I was always into football, but I wanted to party and go party and do summer stuff instead of doing summer football. And I
Yeah.
didn't get the love I was get during the season, so I quit playing football. But I wish I didn't, because I was a bad boy, but I wanted to go party and stuff. But yeah, it'd be football for sure.
Football. Okay. Yeah. I think, dude, I don't even live in America, and I think football would be like probably one of mine as well. Have you ever watched rugby?
That's different right there. Them motherfuckers is crazy. Them
Hey.
motherfuckers, yeah, that's all. That's a whole different type. That's that shit from over there where you at. Nah, keep that shit
Yeah.
over there.
No,
they try
rugby's next level.
to play it out here, but they don't play it like how y'all play in them other countries.
That's so
So,
true.
yeah, even the women rugby players are crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, I would not date her.
I don't know.
She probably,
Yeah. Don't argue.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No. 100%. We actually had two rugby players on. We just dropped the episode. Stephen Kitsoff and Malcolm Marks, two Springbok rugby players, which is our South African team, and they're just another level. Like, you know, in the gym, I've just gotten back into jiu-jitsu as well. So I really wanted to have something to kind of put my training into. I'm not competing. So, let me find something to put that energy into. And I've completely fallen in love with jiu-jitsu. It's the most incredible sport mentally, spiritually. It's incredible. And it's testing me a lot, my patience, my attitude, my ego, everything. You leave all of it at the door and you go in there completely raw, and it's the coolest feeling. But you chat with a rugby player and it's just like, it's next level. The fact that they've got to be bulletproof to take that knock with no armor, and they have to be fast, and they have to be fit to play for like 80 minutes, and they got to be strong to push against. I'm like, nah, come now. If the rugby division ever gets really pissed off, the rest of us are not in a good state. Yeah.
No, rugby players are something different. Something different.
We had Steven, who we had on the show last week. We were out having a beer the one night, and he's with his team, his manager and whoever else. And they go, Josh, you're quite a big guy. And I look over at Steven and I'm like, you do know we're sitting at a table with him, you know, like I'm not the person we should be comparing size in, you know, like the size of this man is huge. So they go, no, Josh, like, what do you bench? And I'm like, guys, we're not going down this rabbit hole, right? Because in front of him, I'll lie. I'll 100% lie so that he thinks I'm cool, right? Let's just be honest about it. I'm not going to bullshit. I'll make myself feel better. So they're like, no, genuinely, what's the most you've ever managed? So I say, okay, I give my number. So I look at him and I go, well, what's yours? You know, you're a rugby World Cup champion. What do you bench? He's like, nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I said, now come now, throw me the numbers. 210 kilos.
That's some weight right there. That's like 500 something.
That's so much weight.
Yeah, he's working.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to go up against him.
No. I imagine you've got ridiculous amounts of strength, but because you so zoned in on control and stuff, like imagine we said to you, okay, Charles, you got 2 years going to powerlifting.
Oh, yeah,
you'd be a machine.
Yeah, I kill it. Yeah, I kill it. It's just what you train for. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we'd see Charles with a 230, 240 bench, easy peasy.
Oh no, but the rugby player, I'm still as strong as him. I could lift that easy. My max
210
is like
bench.
5. Oh yeah, my bench, like I didn't hit like what I hit in pounds. I didn't hit like 525 for like 515 for like 2 or 3 reps, continuous reps. I rep out 405 pounds for like 10 to 15 reps. Like, oh yeah, I'm strong on the bench. Oh, like I'm one of the stronger bodybuilders. I'm very strong, especially when it comes. Oh yeah, I can lift some heavy weight.
Oh, that's badass. There we go.
Just talking shit. That's all. But I'm as strong as him. Oh yeah, I'm as strong as him. But I'm not going up against no rugby player in the rugby. I go against him, but not on the field.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Exactly. Yeah. Wait, so what is your? I have to ask the question.
Said his was how much kilos?
210.
Was 2.2. Oh yeah, that's 462. Oh yeah, that's easy weight. That's easy weight. Yeah, that's easy weight. That's easy weight. So mine's is, so let me see. So I go 525 divided by 2.2. So mine's is 240 kilos is what I lift. Yeah. That's what that is. Let me see. 240 times 2.2. Yeah. No, yeah, like 3.3. So 238 kilos is what I lift. Yeah.
Oh, so that's a lot,
oh yeah. Oh, I lift heavy. I lift real heavy. I go, and that's what I'm saying. And if you see those reps, they're very controlled. They're very under. I'm feeling every rep. You see the contraction. You see me controlling it all the way down. No bouncing, no nothing. Woof, like that. Yeah. And that's why my whole 9 years I've been so good at everything. And then one slippage where it went this way. It wasn't me benching it like this. It was me getting 175-pound dumbbells up. So I had 175 dumbbells on my knees. And when I lifted it up like this, it didn't go straight back. It went this and bah, bah, bah. And I had the tendon didn't tear, the muscle belly tore from the tendon. So you can't do surgery there because it'd be like doing surgery to ground beef. So I had to heal on its own. So it was like a big hole right here. Now the hole is close up, and now it's just like somebody took a scoop of ice cream out, and how you see the scoop. So
I
now it's just
see.
next layer is healing right here. Yep. Yeah, I was had the 175 dumbbells in each hand. I went up. Whoa. Yeah. April 3rd, and I'm already back to starting to work now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 9 weeks later, I was cleared to start using this without surgery.
And have you since? Have you done your first like chest session back in?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks I've been doing it. Yep.
And
So
feeling solid.
feeling solid. Still got some healing to do, but now I'm
Okay.
working while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I see. So you healing and strengthening like at the same time now.
Exactly. And now I'm going to be like in striking this. I'm going to be like 8 weeks out from any show I want to do. So if it's a show in 6 weeks, I'll be able to jump on it because I'm ready now. So I'm taking the rest of this month, a whole month of July, and then it's go time after that.
I'm so excited to see you compete.
It's on.
I'm so excited for it. Also,
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see you at the Olympia this year as well. I think you're going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be on. Have you been to the Olympia before?
I haven't. I've never been. I've obsessively watched it every year. It actually happens over my birthday weekend every year.
Okay.
So it's like a big weekend to kind of like, one, sit down with a beer and two, watch the Olympia. It's quite a juxtaposition of a weekend.
I You might just want to fly to Olympia. Why not?
Oh, I wish, but I mean, if I apply now for my visa, I'd maybe get it in time.
Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, get about
it's,
that whole. It'll be
yeah.
a lot for me. I could come over there with a passport.
Oh, you can, yeah, so you'll apply, get given your visa, easy peasy. And I
Yeah.
think you can come for 3 or 4 months at a time.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. There's a guy here that I think you'll find fascinating. His name's Nick Dupree. So
Okay,
we were gonna have him on the podcast 2 weeks ago, but his schedule's so hectic. He doesn't live in Cape Town, the city I'm in. He lives in another city, and
yeah.
he's a power lifter. But this guy is next level. And friends of mine in Canada and in the States know who he is, and they've been raving about the potential and ability of this guy. Um, you got to check him out. He's next level. He's next level, and a friend of mine just competed at Malta. Thomas Verweerge. I probably said his surname. I think he says his surname in English. I say it Afrikaans. Also,
Yeah.
phenomenal guy. Just got back from Malta. Yeah. Both immensely talented. There's some really, really strong South African boys. They've all got the Afrikaans, farmer genetics. They've been pulling tractors their whole life and like herding cattle, so they've
I've
got,
had to,
yeah, they
yeah, I'll
they
be
they
sure.
known for having like big calves. That's like, and like we joke here that the
Yeah.
Afrikaans have like these huge calves, which they do. It looks like they got heads on top of their feet. Um, it's insane. Like the genetics are ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, check them out. I think you'll dig them quite a bit. But Charles, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. This is like really, really fun for me. I get to
No, like
fan,
this was
but also,
it was just like we were just chilling, talking, and just talking about everything. Like that's what that was done. That's why I'm like, man, it don't matter. We talk about whatever, just from there to all the way around. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's dope.
thank you,
Thank you for
man.
having me, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I'm definitely gonna, if you wouldn't mind, definitely to stay in touch. I'm super excited to see your journey through this year, to see you compete, to see you win, to see you challenge people. Um, yeah, I've been following your Insta and your journey for quite a while. So thank you for sharing it. Thank you for putting it out there. And then thank you as well for sharing your story. Um, and for being such a positive influence, for being, so peaceful and so in place and positive. And thank you for being that kind of person. I think it's important that we give credit to those people because they're very few and far between. So thank you for being a motivation and an inspiration for people like myself in the gym on the other side of the world. Like it's crazy. Yeah.